please help me to reach 1,000 subscribers. The text came in at 12:47 a.m. I remember the time because I'd been staring at the ceiling for almost an hour, listening to the faint vibration on my wife's phone on the nightstand. It buzzed once, then again, then a third time, like whoever was on the other end couldn't stand being ignored. She shifted beside me, pretending to stay asleep. I reached over before I could stop myself. The screen lit up in the dark. Ryan, I can't stop thinking about tonight. My chest tightened. Ryan, her male best friend. The one I'd supposedly been overreacting about for months. I swallowed hard and nudged her shoulder. Your phone. She blinked, groggy performance and all. What? It's Ryan. For a split second, just a flicker, panic flashed across her face. Then it was gone, replaced by annoyance. Can you not do this right now? Do what? My voice was already shaking. Overanalyze everything. Overanalyze. That word had become her shield. For months, I'd been telling myself I was insecure, that I needed to be better, more trusting, less jealous. She'd say, he's like a brother to me, and I'd nod, ashamed of the knot in my stomach. I thought I was the problem. The signs had been small at first. Missed calls, she stepped outside to return. Late-night work brainstorming sessions that somehow always involved Ryan. A new passcode on her phone. When I asked about it, she laughed. You're being dramatic. Maybe I was. I'd grown up watching my father self-destruct over imagined betrayals. I swore I'd never become that man. So I swallowed my doubts. I ignored the way she smiled at her phone. Ignored how she'd mentioned Ryan's jokes at dinner more than mine. Ignored how she'd started dressing differently when they grabbed coffee. Trust me, she'd say. Kissing my cheek like that settled it. And I wanted to. God, I wanted to. But that night, staring at the glow of her screen, something shifted. Why is he texting you like that? I asked quietly. She snatched the phone from my hand. Because we hung out. Because we're close. Why does everything have to mean something? I can't stop thinking about tonight. Doesn't sound like siblings. She sat up in bed. I'm so tired of this. You're suffocating me. Suffocating. The word hit me harder than the text. I rolled onto my back, staring at the ceiling again. I just need you to tell me there's nothing going on. There's nothing going on, she said immediately. Too quickly. I nodded, even though my chest felt hollow. The next morning, she left her phone on the kitchen counter while she showered. She never did that anymore. It buzzed again. Ryan, I didn't want to look. I swear I didn't. But something inside me, something desperate and exhausted, needed the truth more than it needed dignity. I opened the message. Last night meant something to me. I don't care what he thinks. I'm tired of hiding. My hands went numb. There were earlier messages, weeks of them, flirty jokes, complaints about me, intimate details about our arguments, and then a photo, her on our couch, the one we picked out together, his arm around her waist, not explicit, not dramatic, but intimate, comfortable, real. I felt like I was reading the autopsy of my own marriage. By the time she came out of the bathroom, I was sitting at the table, her phone in front of me. She froze. I didn't yell. I didn't throw anything. I just looked at her and asked, how long? Silence filled the room like smoke. It's not what you think, she whispered. I almost laughed. Then tell me what it is. Her eyes filled with tears. We didn't plan for it to happen. So it had happened. That confirmation felt worse than the messages. It just evolved, she said. You were always suspicious, always distant. I was distant because I felt you pulling away. You were pushing me, she shot back, then immediately looked ashamed. I didn't mean... Yes, you did. She sank into the chair across from me. I felt alone. Ryan listened. He made me feel seen. And I didn't? Her silence answered for her. I thought about the nights I'd stayed up finishing extra work so we could afford a vacation she wanted. The weekends I'd planned date nights she canceled because she was too tired. Whenever we stopped seeing each other. Did you sleep with him? I asked. Another pause. Yes. The word was barely audible, but it shattered something permanent inside me. I'd imagined this moment 100 times during our arguments. In my imagination, I'd scream. I'd storm out. I'd slam doors. Instead, I felt tired. So I wasn't overreacting, I said quietly. She started crying. I never meant to hurt you, but you did. She reached for my hand. I pulled it back. I kept telling myself you were just insecure, she whispered. That if I reassured you enough, you'd calm down. I didn't want to admit I'd crossed a line. You gaslit me. She flinched. I thought I was losing my mind. I continued. I questioned my instincts. I apologized for things that weren't even wrong. I was scared, she said. I didn't want to lose you. I looked at her, really looked at her. The woman I'd loved for 8 years. The woman who knew how I took my coffee and which side of the bed I needed to sleep on because of my shoulder. I think you already did, I said. That was the moment, not the text, not the confession. The moment I realized love wasn't enough without respect. She stood up suddenly. So what? You're just done? Just like that. I felt something steady rise inside me. Not anger, not revenge. Clarity. I spent months thinking I was the problem. I said, I begged you to set boundaries, to make me feel secure. Instead, you chose him. It wasn't that simple. It never is. She wiped her tears. I can cut him off. I'll block him. We can fix this. Maybe we could have. With therapy. With time. With brutal honesty. But every memory now had a shadow. Every late meeting. Every laugh at her phone. Trust isn't something you glue back together. Once it cracks, the lines never disappear. I love you, I told her. Her face crumpled. But I can't live like this. Wondering. Competing. Doubting myself. So that's it, she whispered. I nodded. I thought I was overreacting about your male friend. She closed her eyes. But you knew, I continued. You just hoped I'd stay quiet. She didn't deny it. I packed a bag that afternoon. Not dramatically, just the essentials. As I stood by the door, she said, Please don't go. I hesitated, because love doesn't vanish on command. Because part of me still wanted her to run to me and say she'd made a terrible mistake and she'd do anything to fix it. Instead, she just stood there, crying. I wish you'd listen to me, I said softly. I wish I'd listened to you too. And for the first time in months, I believed her. I walked out not because I stopped loving her, but because I finally started respecting myself. In the weeks that followed, the silence was deafening. I'd reach for my phone to text her about something stupid, a show we used to watch, a recipe she loved. Then remember, the grief wasn't just about her affair. It was about the version of us I thought we were. I replayed everything, looking for the exact moment we cracked. Maybe there wasn't one. Maybe it was a series of small choices, small silences, small betrayals. What I've learned is this. Intuition isn't insecurity. Asking for boundaries isn't control. And love without trust is just attachment wearing a disguise. I thought he was overreacting about my male friend until he said he was done. And by then it was too late.